where is that development time going? Where is that?
And I have to say again, I really didn't like the cinematic. I thought the cinematic was cringe with Anduin being a bitch. I really did. I thought it was. I still think it's fucking. I think it's fucking pathetic. It's absolutely it's so bad. Yeah, it's so bad because Anduin is a bitch. Yes, Anduin's acting like a bitch because he is a bitch, and safe modern. Yeah, like all cinematic action Shadowlands have been kind of lame, except for the Garrosh one. The Garrosh cinematic was exactly the way that it should have been.
True.
And then it went, after that, it just was bad. Varian was so much better compared to Anduin. I just think, like, again, it's about these, like, it's just these fucking soft stories for, like, modern audiences. Empathy for streamers, but not for Anduin. Yeah, because Anduin's not real. And Anduin also has a responsibility to his people as a king. Like, you can't just run out on people as the king, man. He's the fucking king. Varian did? No, he didn't. No, he didn't, bro. Like, he got his soul was literally severed in half. And then as soon as he got his soul back, he came back and he immediately took over again. There was no soul searching for an expansion. There was no crying. There was nothing like that. He just came back, immediately took back over, and then he fucking died saving his son and his friend from the Legion.
Well, the bald one has spoken. I guess it is time to learn about Varian. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to break this up. Alright, so of course, guys, this one is from the homie novel. Now, as you guys know, I started with novel, with, you know, basically everything with the old gods. Sorry, guards. The old gods, you know, Sargeras, you know, in his actual quest throughout the universe. You know, seeing how the universe actually operates and how it actually kind of fundamentally changed them. I'm gonna get back on that. But when I heard the bald man, you know, speaking, how he spoke about Anduin. Now, of course, I don't know any of these people personally, but I do want to understand why people do feel the way they feel about Anduin, you know, compared to Varian. So in this one, we will take a kind of a side detour on the actual history and story of Varian Wrynn. This one is going to be broken up into multiple parts because, as you guys know, with novel, this is a 2-hour fucking video. So it's awesome because I get to learn really a lot, and it's awesome that these creators are in this space for WoW. Thank God. Also kind of sucks that there isn't an actual series to watch all this stuff. What are you doing, Blizzard? Fucking up. But relax, sit back, get your snacky snacks. I'm probably gonna make, I don't know how many episodes of this I'm gonna make. It's gonna be chopped up, man. It's gonna be like Warcraft 3. It's gonna be like an entire series. Because this is like the full. Noble says it's the full version, and I forgot to move back my camera. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god. I'm not taking it out, bro. I'm not doing that intro over. No, like, what you guys see, what you get. An actual fully organic reaction to all this. I'm not doing it over. I fucked up, but that's okay. We will recover. But like I said before, guys, I'm chopping this one up. Get everything you need. It is time to explore the history of Varian Wrynn. Let's go. Oh shit. Okay, I think everything's good. Okay. Alright, Noble, let's rock.
Hello everyone.
Hey, Noble.
Varian Wrynn was born when his father was named King Lian.
Listen how cute I sound back then. This video is from April 2012 and one of the first lore videos that I've ever done.
Yeah, and apparently I did, when I searched this up, there was like, you know, older ones from Noble. But being that I believe this, of course, a lot of things in Warcraft get retconned and changed, you know, around a lot. So that's why I kind of picked the 2-hour one, because I don't know how much of this stuff is going to change with Varian and his history. So, I mean, if it doesn't, then, you know, all right. But, you know, this is why I kind of more so aim toward the 2-hour one, opposed to the original, I guess, chopped up ones that, you know, the homie Nub already had on his channel.
Since that time, Varian has done a lot more in the storyline, and with the start of a brand new year, let's honor
Okay,
the
so it
man
sounds
that
like we
gave
will get new
everything to
information.
save his worlds. There's quite a bit to go through, so we'll probably need a couple of parts to cover it all. But let's just begin and see how far we can go, shall we?
For the Alliance.
For the Horde.
Varian Wrynn was born into the royal family, prince to the kingdom of Stormwind. His father, Wrynn, ruled the kingdom, and at his side were his
Lane,
childhood
okay.
friends Anduin Lothar as a warrior, a knight's champion to the king, and
Wait, do I need to? I think I need to. I might have to. Hold on, because I want you guys to see the name. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen this stuff anyways. Like, it doesn't probably fucking matter. But, okay, yeah, so, yeah, just like in the story of Anduin, Anduin was named after Anduin Lothar. I think that was maybe a friend of Varian's in Medivh. Wait, wasn't this is the same Medivh from Warcraft 3? Wait, let me go back and hear this again.
was born into the royal family, prince to the kingdom of Stormwind. His father, Wrynn, ruled the kingdom, and at his side were his childhood friends Anduin Lothar as a warrior, a
Okay, they
knight's
were
champion
friends,
to the
his
king,
friends, okay.
and the guardian Medivh. The Guardian was magically empowered to defend the kingdom, and things were relatively peaceful for a time. That is, until the spirit of Sargeras, hidden within Medivh, made contact with the Orcish warlock Gul'dan. Sargeras wanted to weaken the world and get it ready for Legion invasion, and the Orcish horde were perfect.
Yeah, that's right. Because I believe in Warcraft 3, you guys said that it was actually Medivh that opened, like, the dark portal.
For this task. They worked together on
There's a
opening the
lot
dark
of
portal,
information when it
war
comes
was
to-
spreading to
wow.
Azeroth, and
A lot of
Stormwind
lore.
rallied to defend its kingdom. The good side of Medivh was still doing his best to fight back against Sargeras, and he was placing people around him who could be his downfall. People like his apprentice Khadgar, but also the half-orc, half-Draenei, Garona half-Orcan. Garona was bred and trained in Order of Gul'dan to become the perfect assassin, had spells placed on her mind to keep her obedient, and she was sent by Gul'dan to keep an eye on Medivh. She eventually revealed herself to Khadgar, seeing humans as a potential means of escaping Gul'dan, and they eventually discovered Medivh's corruption. Quickly fleeing the town of Karazhan, they made their way to Stormwind to inform them all about what was going on. Anduin Lothar believed them, and together with some more
Bro, real quick, bro, look at that paladin set. Holy shit, bro. Damn. I want that set. Let me know if I can get that set in game.
soldiers, they made their way back into the tower to confront the Guardian. There, a vision was shown to Garona and Khadgar. A vision in which her future self, she murdered King Lane, and both of them knew it to be true. Regardless, the vision ended and the battle with Medivh was on. He literally drained the youth out of Khadgar, making him look like a very old man, but together they were able to stab him, and as Sargeras tried to manifest, they chopped off his head and they put an end to this threat. The fair Sargeras might have been dealt with, but the
Wait. Khadgar. Why does that name... Wait, isn't that the same Khadgar that was in the actual Legion cinematic? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm thinking of someone else. Khadgar is someone different. I don't believe I know who Khadgar is yet. Interesting.
The Horde's invasion was still on its way. Despite the vision that they had seen in the tower, Garona was still allowed into Stormwind's court, and she became a trusted confidant
this
to the
the
king.
Warcraft
They now
movie?
had to
Yeah.
defend the realm without the powers of the Guardian at their side. So Lothar, champion of Stormwind, he rallied their people in an attempt to stop the massive numbers of the Horde. Perhaps they believed that the vision they were shown was not guaranteed, and this would be a great mistake. Gul'dan's spells placed in Garona's mind, the very weapons in her hands, they manipulated her and they forced her to do the unthinkable.
Bad news, sire.
Damn.
The clans are united under Black Hand in this assault. They will stand together until Stormwind has fallen. Gul'dan is bringing up his warlocks by nightfall. Until then, the Blackrock clan will be trying to take the eastern wall.
1,000 deaths.
I think that's just in game.
We will hold until the reinforcements come. As long as men with stout hearts are manning the walls and the throne, Stormwind will hold.
The Orc leaders agree with your assessment.
Damn.
Varian walked into the room and he found Garona clutching the bloody knife. Tears were streaming down her cheeks. Stormwind
Dude.
was eventually destroyed by the orcs, and Anduin Lothar took all those that he could, including Prince Varian and Khadgar, and they set sail to the land of Lordaeron. The world had to be warned about the threat of the Horde. None could stand alone in this war. They had to unite and fight back. Now, as you might imagine, the tale of a force so strong that none of the kingdoms could stand against it. It was quite a tale to tell, and not everyone was immediately convinced. Some of them, like Ghent Greymane, ruler of Gilneas, he believed that his kingdom was strong enough to crush any who would attempt to make landfall on their southern coast. And then, people like King Perinold, ruler of Alterac, he wondered if they could not simply negotiate with them. But Lothar's words
Doubt
were
it.
eventually able to convince them that the Horde wanted their world and would settle for nothing less, and that their might required them to stand together. So it was that the Alliance of Lordaeron was formed, and the war for the world was on. Varian himself was not directly involved.
Okay, so that's
in
the like
war
origins
efforts.
of.
At such a young age, he had seen everything that he had known. His family, his kingdom, burned to ashes by the orcs. King Terenas, the ruler
Damn.
of Lordaeron. he
Okay,
was
so
kinda-
it does sound like. I mean, at least from that, well, at least from starting age of, because when does this looks like a maybe a 8 or 9 year old Varian, seeing like your whole village being burned. That is a little bit worse than Anduin, but I mean, hey man, from what I've seen from Anduin, like his shit was fucked up too. So, I mean, I'm trying to, you know, really compare these two characters and see exactly, you know, really who had it really worse. I mean, both had it very, very shitty. Very shitty. I'm trying to see, okay, like who had it that, you know, that smidge more, you know?
and wise. King Lane had been a very good man, and they counted him as a friend and ally, and they would do everything in their power to restore Varian to his throne. More than that, Terenas also realized that Varian needed to keep hearing his title of prince, needed to know that he was still respected, that he was still part of the royal family, when he had lost absolutely everything but his life. The boy was left in the care of Terenas' son Arthas, who didn't really know what to say to Varian, so he told him about this fowl that he had seen being born yesterday. It sounded insane, but it was the first thing that sprang to his mind.
Wait a minute, so Arthas and Varian knew each other. Wait, was Varian there during the Wrath? Everything with Wrath? I don't know.
Earnestly, Varian turned toward him and gazed at him for a long moment. Emotions flitted across his face. Offense, disbelief, gratitude, yearning, understanding. Suddenly, the brown eyes filled with tears and Varian looked away.
Damn.
He folded his arms and hunched in on himself. His shoulders shaken with sobs, he did his best to muffle. They came out anyway. Harsh, raking sounds of mourning for a father, a kingdom, a way of life that he probably hadn't been able to grieve until this precise minute.
Damn, that's hard, man. That's hard. Like, that's some of the worst things when, you know, people are going through like tragedy and like death in the family and stuff like that. Like, because I've been in those situations, and it's one of the most, I mean, not awkward in a bad way, but it's like you don't want to say the wrong thing. All you can really do is, you know, just be there and support. Like, because I don't like when people say, "Oh, you know, it's going to get better," or "I know how you feel." Like, it feels, you know, kind of cliche and kind of like downplays things, at least in my opinion. Like, all you can do is just really, you know, just put a hand on their shoulder and just like let them go through it, man. Like, that's a journey I feel as though a lot of people just have to go through alone. Like, you can just don't say anything, man. Like, just be there for, you know, just some emotional support. You know, like, I mean, what can you say, man? Well, like, what can you say to a guy that's lost everything? You know, like, what can you, like, what do you say in that instance? Like, there's nothing you can say, huh? But yeah, man, I hate being in those situations, because I mean, it sucks because you want to do more for the people that you know that you actually care for, but you literally can't. Like, they just have to go through that grief stage on their own. Like, that's a journey they just have to walk by themselves. And like, all you can do is just be there for them. But that is interesting how, well, I guess people don't really consider this as Varian, you know, I guess, you know, really crying like Anduin, because they say Anduin cries so much. And then this is like the first time I've seen Varian cry. So, I mean, plus he has a good reason. Like, the kids, like, he looks like he's lost everything. His dad, his kingdom. So I get that.
Arthas squeezed his arm and felt it rigid as stone beneath his fingers. I hate winter. Varian sobbed, and the depth of the hurt conveyed by those 3 simple words, a seeming non-sequitur, humbled Arthas. Unable to watch such raw pain, yet powerless to do anything about it, he dropped his hand, turned away, and stared out the window. Outside,
That's all you can
the
do.
snow continued.
That's all you can do, bro. All you can do is just beat it for him.
Boys grew very close during their time together. Although their first meeting had been laced with grief and awkwardness, Arthas had discovered that Varian had actually a strong spirit and a generally optimistic outlook. They also discovered that Varian was far superior when it came to fighting. Tyrannus had always been trying to protect his son, which is why his training hadn't really begun yet. Varian's father had also tried to protect him, but he had failed. The realities of life have a way of intruding like that. But Varian promised his new friends that when the war was over and proper trainers could be spared again, that they would talk to the king together. And the war would eventually be over. The allies of Lordaeron, they were able to defeat the Horde, but the price of the victory was great. Many lives were lost, including that of Anduin Lothar, but they had reclaimed the world and rebuilding had to be done. The orcs that surrendered, they were placed
Wait a minute. Wait, is that an actual statue of Anduin Lothar? Because I remember when I was going to the Burning Steps in retail with the... I believe it was... Yeah, with my mage. With my... Wait, was it a mage? I remember I was a gnome. But was it a mage? Bro, I remember I was running through the Burning Steps and trying to get from... That was before I knew the actual like train station was there. So I was running from Dunmarang all the way to fucking Stormwind. Like I went through the Burning Steps and I did pass like this statue, and one of you guys did say that this was a statue. I believe this is a statue of Anduin Lothar, because I asked about the statue when I saw it. Bro, that was a journey. That was quite a journey. One I will never take again.
Were able to defeat the Horde, but the price of the victory was great. Many lives were lost, including that of Anduin Lothar, but they had reclaimed the world and rebuilding had to be done. The orcs that surrendered, they were placed within internment camps, while the reconstruction of Stormwind and even the building of Netherguard Keep, aiming to keep an eye on the Dark Portal, they were placed upon the shoulders of the Stonemasons Guild. The leader of this guild was Edwin Van Cleef, and the camps
we all know how this
actually cost
turned
a lot
out.
of gold, which once again led to a bit of discussion amongst the rulers.
Yeah.
They may particularly wondered why they had to spend so much gold on a wall, a tower, and a single keep, just to keep an eye on the Dark Portal, but Varian asked them how great of a price they put on their safety. Nothing worth having ever comes cheaply, and Tyrannus, he was very proud of the recently crowned young king of Stormwind, who had grown up to be a clever, charming, noble young man, a natural leader, and a gifted diplomat for one so young, despite all they had lost at such a young age. Their gold was put to good use, since Stormwind had not only been rebuilt, it was even stronger and better than before. They've added the Dwarven District, they've added the deep run tram constructed by the gnomes to make passage to Ironforge easier, and this kept the alliance between the humans and dwarves strong. Building Netherguard Keep was also a very good idea, since the Dark Portal...
Bro, I wish I knew that actual train station was there prior to that goddamn run. It was a fun run, man. It was a fun little journey, you know, going from Dunmarang all the way to Stormwind, but my god, was it a fight.
would reopen, and the Horde came back to Azeroth. This time, not in an attempt to conquer the planet, this time they came to collect powerful artifacts, which allowed them to open up more portals and invade different worlds. The Allies of Lordaeron, the Sons of Lothar, they figured out what was going on, and they realized that they could not let the Horde go through with this. They could not allow them to spread the same pain and suffering as they had brought to Azeroth, so people like Turelion, Illyria Windrunner, Khadgar, Círdan Wildhammer, and Danav Trollbane, they took their troops and they ventured forth through the Dark Portal to take the battle to the Orcs' own worlds. They were successful in stopping them from invading different worlds, but they were also forced to close the Dark Portal from Draenor's side. The people back in Azeroth, they had no idea what actually happened to them, if they were still alive or all gone. So to honor these brave Sons of Lothar, statues were built in front of Stormwind, so that all who would enter the city, that they could...
That's them! Oh shit! Bro! I know there's like plaques on... Yeah, like there's plaques that you can actually read, but I never knew those were the actual heroes that closed the actual Doom portal on the other side of Draenor. Oh shit. Bro, that's why it's important to actually read this shit. Damn. But wait, let me know, whatever happened to them? Like, did they die over in Draenor? Or like, did they somehow survive? Did some of them die? Like, what's the deal with that? But damn. So that's who they are, the actual heroes.
Gaze upon those who had given their all to save the world. With the Dark Portal closed once again, a rare relative time of peace entered Varian's life. He fell in love with Tiffin Illyrian and had a child that they named Anduin, in honor of the man who had done so very much for the kingdom. Arthas
right.
Menethil also made his way to the city in one of the biggest
Arthas.
celebrations Stormwind had ever seen. It was time for
Good
him
guy.
to officially become a paladin, part of the Knights of the Silver Hands, and Varian, he had opened up the palace to all visiting royalty and their attendants. The boyhood friends had spent the night before the ceremony drinking and talking, even gone to the armory, they fetched some wooden training swords, and they went at each other. Varian had a
Bro,
early
like,
start-
that's cool, bro. The fact that, like, was this even in game? Like, I think it would have been, like, awesome to have, like, kind of, like, one of those. I mean, because, see, Final Fantasy 14 is so good at this, where characters you didn't expect to interact with each other. Like, well, not really that, but, like, more main characters interact with each other in, like beautiful, just, I guess, slice of life cutscenes where, like, you really get more inside of what they're thinking, of who they really are as a person. Like, Final Fantasy, they exceed at that. But, like, was this, bro? That would have been, like, such a cool cinematic, like, seeing, like, an older Varian artist just being bros, man. What? I gotta look that shit up. I wonder if it's in game.
on training, and
That'd be
he'd
so
always
cool.
been good. And now he was even better, but so was Arthas. He'd been training rigorously and gave as good as he got. The alcohol that they consumed made him only slightly worse, but the next day was all about formalities. Once the ceremony was over and Arthas was accepted in the Light's grace, Varian tried to clap his friend on the shoulder, only to have his hand sting when he struck the hard metal of the shoulder plates. Much laughter was had at that, but as most of you know by now, dark times were ahead of Arthas, and the same
Yeah.
can be said for Varian, since amongst the court of Stormwind, a black dragon was plotting and scheming. On the orders of Deathwing, Onyxia disguised herself as Lady Katrana Prestor, and she convinced
Yep.
the nobles to not pay the stonemasons
Don't
guild
pay the
for their work.
stonemasons.
In this time, Varian was busy riding from one end of his kingdom to the other, protecting his people from raiding parties of orc stragglers and meeting with spies who were searching for the assassin Garona. And on top of all of that, he was directing the restoration of his kingdom. He was gone for months on end and had delegated the rebuilding of Stormwind Keep to the House of Nobles, but upon returning, he did his best to mediate the situation and he failed. For not getting paid, Van Cleef led his guild rioting through the streets as they escaped
Yep.
the city. The riot was dangerous and chaotic, and in the mass of confusion, Varian's wife Tiffin was killed. The
Damn,
devil's
bro.
beloved.
Bro, I still can't believe that she was killed by a rock. Bro, do you know how hard you have to throw a rock to kill someone? Well, I mean, again, it depends on the rock size. I mean, our skulls are, pretty fragile. But damn. Damn.
It sent the king into a deep depression, and Onyxia used her magic to feed on it, influence his mind, and rule from behind the curtains. Only Anduin was able to pierce the darkness, bring his father back to the light, and fight against their control. This meant
Wait a minute. So, because when I first found out that basically, it was the Defias. Why couldn't I get that out? When basically it was the Defias that basically killed Varian's wife. I always wondered when going through Stormwind, how are these people? How are they still allowed to operate? How do they still exist? Because I would figure that, hey man, like these people, if I was a king, knowing that a gang killed my wife, like I would just go scorched earth. Like I would just eradicate the entire, like that entire actual gang, that entire like it would just be absolute chaos. Because I wondered when going through Westfall. Did I say Stormwind earlier? Jesus Christ. When I went through Westfall and seeing how much Defiance was out there, I'm like, dude, these people killed the king's. Was Varian king at that time? They killed Varian's wife. How are they still allowed to operate, man? Like, I would think that this man would just. I would think he would just purge the entire the entire gang, bro. Like just wipe every trace of them out. Or at least force them so far out of Stormwind to the where like they're not really a problem anymore. But I'm guessing it was actually Anduin that talked some sense into him. Maybe Varian was about to go down that road. And Anduin kind of saved them. So in that case, Anduin, like he came in clutch. I don't know if it was a good thing or not because Westfall was a bitch. So I'm conflicted, I don't know. I mean, because at the end of the day, those are still your people, I guess. yeah, they're still your people. And I don't think the actual killing of his wife was intentional. But Anixia, I believe in another video, it said Anixia could have played a role in that actual death as well. So,
that the Black Dragon had to come up with a new plan to regain control, and this time she decided to put the Defiance Brotherhood, those of the Stonemasons Guild had formed this organization, decided to put those guys to good use. Varian was convinced to join a conference at Fedamore to discuss a pact between the new Orcish leader named Thrall and the people of Stormwind. Jaina Proudmoore did not have the history with the Orcs as Varian had. Thrall had liberated his people from their internment camps, and he had formed this new horde. Jaina and Thrall even stood side by side against the demonic forces of the Burning Legion during Warcraft 3, and Jaina was now doing her best to get some sort of peace between the Orcs and the humans. As you might imagine, Varian was not too keen on sitting down with the people that had murdered his father and destroyed his kingdom, but his son convinced him to at least go and hear Thrall out. Now on his way to Fedamore, the king of Stormwind was attacked by the Defias, hidden amongst his crew, and they brought him straight to the waiting claws of Anixia. She used their magic.
bro, so not only did these people kill his wife, but they tried to assassinate him. Bro, how didn't Varian wipe these fuckers out? Again, it probably was Anduin, man. Maybe he was going to. But goddamn, these people are a fucking problem.
To split Varian in two, one containing Varian's will, which he planned on disposing, and one Varian which he could easily manipulate and control. She might have gotten away with it too, was it not for the Naga attacking her just as she was about to strike. In the confusion that followed, the whale's Varian was able to jump into the water, strike his head on something, lose his memory, but he did keep his life. The other Varian was taken by the
coming in
Naga,
clutch?
later on ransomed back to Stormwind to rule the kingdom and re-enter the Dragon's Web and be further ensorcelled. Which means that at this point, Varian's story actually splits in two, since there are now two versions of him in the world.
Right.
Let's begin with the whaled Varian. This one would wash up on the shores of Durotar. There, on the beach, the orcs were spotting a human waking up to the mouth of a hungry crocolisk. Bets were quickly placed on the outcome of the fight, but Rhaegar Earthfury's experienced eyes, they immediately could tell that this human was a very well-trained fighter. Varian managed to put up a good fight, but it seems like the crocolisk was about to win. Rhaegar couldn't let his new prize be eaten, so a quick lightning bolt ended the life of the wild beast. But it wasn't required, since Varian, he had placed himself in such a way that the beast's own weight placed a stake through its heart. Rhaegar asked Varian who he was, and the human, to his shock and surprise, he doesn't
Bro, no fucking way, bro. Varian was just like, nah, I'd win. just casually killing Crocs after losing his memory. Not gonna lie, that's badass.
remember anything. This made it all the easier for Rhaegar to capture Varian, despite the treaty between the Horde and the Alliance, and force him into his arena team, together with people like Valera Sanguinar and the druid Bror Baremantle.
Yo, now wait a minute. I do know somewhat of that Valera Sangar. Not for anything in particular, but bro, just because she's a blood elf, bro. Ooh. Oh my god, bro. My god. Oh my, bro. That's the only reason I even like kind of recognize her name, because I've seen the cosplays, bro. I've done the research on this character. Bro. Oh, bro, like best looking blood elf, bro. But I think she's even better looking than Sylvanas. Damn. Damn. Bro, it's something about blood elves, man. It's something about blood elves. All right, getting back to what I was doing.
Be your death!
At first, these three unlikely allies, they were not really willing to work together. Varian didn't even want to fight. They considered giving...
Ooh, bro, Noble knew what he was doing, bro. Let's just go ahead and zoom in like so.
him the taste of the whip for a bit, but Rhaegar was wise enough to know that if they place his back against the wall, Varian would have to fight.
A whole
His team
bakery.
is then pitched against another. Valera brashly enters the fight, and Bro and Varian, they have no choice but to go after her. Despite losing his memory, at his core, Varian still knows how to fight, and their group emerged victorious. For completing their
okay,
gladiator
right.
training, Earth Fury allows them to choose a weapon from the Halls of Legends within Orgrimmar. These weapons, they will carry them into the arena at Dire Maul. Valera finds a set of orc daggers to her liking, Bro picks up a staff carved in the likeness of a stag, and Varian finds a belt. A belt that triggers his memory. A vision of Anduin Lothar towering over him, with a stormy sea in the background. This is the moment where he and Lothar journey to Lordaeron. This belt belonged to the line of Azeroth, and is found his way back to Varian. With the belt in his
But what are the
possession,
odds?
he entered the Dire Maul arena, where none could believe that Rhaegar's ragtag team of untried fighters could even make it through the first round. Despite their first expectations though, their arena team did great, overcame any challenge placed in front of them. Varian is able to put up such a good fight that he manages to win over the crowd's favor. They cheer his new nickname,
Oh.
Logash, meaning Ghost Wolf, a fitting name for the hero.
Bro,
of
even
Dire
this man even earned the respect of the fucking Horde. Damn, bro, that shit. Shit. Shit.
Maul.
I am Varian, but I am also Logosh.
Winning the fights had earned Rhaegar quite a bit of money.
Why did that
and he's
sound like
ready to
Arthas?
leave Dire Maul behind. But before he does, he decides that Valera, she doesn't make for the best team player, and he sells her to become a leader of her own team. Bro and Varian, they hate the idea of leaving Valera behind, but such is the life of a slave. They set
Damn.
out to Thunderbluff to meet up with Megafa Grim Totem and find a new recruit
Bro, I bet he was like, man, I should have hit.
team amongst the Tauren. Now Varian, he's still trying to regain his memory, and although he receives flashes from time to time, he still doesn't really know who he is or what he's supposed to do with himself. Brawl then recommends to visit the Pools of Vision for a cleansing ritual to see if they can find some answers and prevent Varian to be lost in his memories. Megafa warns them that it would be unwise to go to the caves right now, since an elemental has been let loose inside, but Varian and Brawl, they're more than willing to take their chances. While meditating, both fighters receive their own visions, and Varian finds out that he has a son, that there are people who need him, so he can no longer stay with Rhaegar. After take care of the elemental that they've been warned about, they're invited to join Rhaegar and Hamul Rune Totem for dinner, since Hamul, he expected that it was actually Megafa who had summoned the elemental in the first place.
Now, that was interesting what Noble just said. Let me go back to it.
And let loose inside, but Varian and Brawl, they're more than willing to take their chances. While meditating, both fighters receive their own visions, and Varian finds out that he has a son, that there are people who need him, so he can no longer stay with Rhaegar.
That is a complaint that I did heard the bald man say that, you know, even after getting his soul split and find out all this stuff, knowing that he has a kingdom that he has to lead, but again, I don't, when comparing this to what Anduin went through, like, see, I don't know if it's a, I don't know who really, I mean, because it does seem like Varian's will to lead his people is stronger than Anduin's, but maybe it's because Anduin went through more than Varian. Because like, from what I've seen, Anduin was, you know, controlled by the jailer, you know, and acted on horrible things. Well, he was made to do horrible things. And see, with Varian's soul being split, he does still have control of himself, even though he's half of himself. So, I mean, I don't know how. Maybe things would be different if Varian was. Well, I mean, his other half, his other soul is being controlled by Onyxia. But I mean, I guess it's more like a charmed kind of thing, like almost under a spell, rather than being, you know, forced against your will.
Off to take care of the elemental that they've been warned about, they're invited to join Rhaegar
I don't know.
and Hamul Rune Totem for dinner, since Hamul, he expected that it was actually Megafa who had summoned the elemental in the first place, and now she had to pretend to be happy about it being destroyed. This makes
Damn.
the old druid very happy, and as they sit down, he tells them the tale behind Varian's new nickname. Logash, also known as Gul'dan, is a demigod which fought against the Legion, but he's been part of legends for millennia. Each
Damn.
culture has their own version, but one thing always stays the same. His ferocity and will was able to push himself through the boundaries of the afterlife to aid his people. Giving Varian
Shit.
this nickname was a compliment to his skills as a fighter, and as we would later find out, means so much more to Varian as a character.
It's in the book. Why wasn't it in the game?
We'll get to that later on though. Now, with the tale done, Hamul gives Varian a feather as a thank you for destroying the elemental. Brawl immediately recognized the feather and the intention behind it, considering that he and Hamul are both druids. With the feather, he's able to summon the aid of a hippogriff, and on his back, he and Varian escape their slave master. Rhaegar's guards, they quickly go after them, but Rhaegar himself isn't too worried about his top fighters making an escape. They've earned his investment in them 1,000 times over at Dire Maul, and he always knew that this day was coming.
He's like, yeah, I made my
Dive
money.
a little bit deeper into Brawl's story arc, until he and Varian, they meet up with Thrawn the Westwind, who then tells them to go to the king's original destiny.
What the fuck? Malfurion is awake? Bro, this gotta be a fake video. This is fake.
Go back to Faramore Isle. There, the human sorceress Jaina Proudmoore, she doesn't recognize Varian at face value, and she helps Varian with recovering more of his memory. They discover that he must be Varian Wrynn, the lost king of Stormwind. They'd given up hope on him, but despite not being able to uncover all his memories, Jaina is certain that he's the one, and he must make his way back to Stormwind, but to do so carefully. They don't know the identity of his enemies, and his son Anduin is still in the city. His life is still at risk. His ship carried the king, Brawl, and even Valera, who by this time had escaped a new team, found a way back to them. All of them set sail across the sea.
Oh, she
Their
escaped
journey
too.
is not
Nice.
that easy though. Once again, the Naga are on the attack, and these are the same Naga that also captured and ransomed the other Varian.
Naga.
In their struggle, the Naga Siren strikes at Varian with lightning, which is why he has the scar on his face. No one, not the Naga nor the Scourge, nor the
So that's how we got that damn scar. It's a battle wound. I mean, I knew it was from something, but a Naga? Huh. That's impressive, I must say. After everything Varian's been through, to be hit by, like that by a Naga, wow.
fiery lords of the Burning Legion will keep
I mean, because I don't think that Croc put a scratch on him.
Varian away from his people. He might be king, but he's still every inch the champion gladiator, as he slices the Naga Siren in two. Their journey to Stormwind would take them to Manifil Harbor and eventually even Ironforge. But first, let's talk about what happened with the other Varian, since, like I mentioned, this version was missing for a while, and in his absence, young Anduin Wrynn, he was crowned king, which is why, back in Classic, we had King Anduin in Stormwind. While truthfully, he was only a figurehead, and people like High Lord Bolvar Fordragon and Lady Katrana Prestor, they were the real rulers in Varian's absence. Over a year ago, after leaving the city on his diplomatic mission, the people gathered to welcome the lost king home, ransomed back with the money earned from a special tax. Money once again taken from the people. They had paid a hefty price to see their king return, and worse yet, this Varian didn't at all seem concerned about the well-being of his citizens. He only had eyes for the beauty of Katrana, for balls and hunts. When Magni Bronzebeard showed up to ask for aid against the Dark Island Dwarves...
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, whatever happened to that other Varian?
Varian, or I should say Katrana, they flat out refused the dwarf with the excuse that it was more a personal war, considering that Magni's daughter Moira, she had left him, fallen in love, and even got pregnant with the leader of the Dark Irons. Insult to the core, Magni was more than ready to leave the city and find out more about this real Varian he had been told about by Jaina. Anduin didn't understand what was going on. This was not the father that he had known, and he talked about his suspicions with Magni, and he also asked Bolvar to investigate. He even openly questioned his own father, how it was that if he was taken by the Defiance, how it was that the Naga were the ones who put him up for ransom. Varian simply laughed it off, yet from the shadows, Prester saw the threat of the child who could undo everything she'd worked so hard for to achieve. A threat that had to be taken care of. So as father and son were out for a ride, and Anduin tried to tell his father of Winter's fury as to what's been going on in Stormwind, Prester used their favorite weapon, a rock, to spook Anduin's horse. His father had to make a dive to save his beloved son.
Bro, she tried to off the kid. Damn, bro. Anduin's went. Both Anduin and Varian they've went through it. They went through it, bro.
As he holds his son's life in his hands, visions envelop him. Visions of the past, of the Defiance kidnapping him, of searing agony, of a Naga attack, and of another cliff and almost near death. Prester's plans of getting rid of Anduin, they failed horribly, and Bolvar noticed how just a touch from Katrana that it befuddles the king, almost as if he were bewitched. He now knows that
That's why you never simp, bro. See, Bovar, he knew, bro. He knew. Never simp, bro.
Anduin is right. Something's going on here, and he's sure that Marshal Windsor's reports that will make for some interesting reading. The only problem was that Windsor, he was captured by the Dark Island Dwarves, and he's being held within the Blackrock depths. Now, in-game, this was actually part of the Onyxia achievement questline, in which adventurers, they went in to save him and bring him back to Stormwind. In the comics, though, it's actually the Wild Varian in his party who get the honor to do so. By this time, they've made their way to Idleforge, and of course, Magni is more than willing to believe that this is the real Varian, since this one has the strong will that he remembers, and has no problem with helping the dwarves. Small party rides out to Blackrock Mountain, they save Windsor, and they escort him back to Stormwind. There he reveals to all what exactly has been going on, that the Black Dragon Onyxia, that she had tried to usurp Stormwind's throne, and naturally, Onyxia isn't quite happy. She throws away her disguise, and so do the guards, who are actually part of a Black Dragon brood, and a fierce battle takes place right there in the throne room, where first, the two variants, they focus on each other, because they both believe the other to be a fraud, and Anduin reminds them that there's a Black Dragon in there keep murdering all of their people.
Yeah.
He was always a bright lad, so the two sides of Varian, they band together, and they strike out at Onyxia.
Bro, I like, that's crazy how the two sides of Varian, like, they're kind of, just, unga bungaing it, and doing a child. Like, he's the only one there with reason and clarity to be like, hey, man, like, there's a bigger threat than than you two just going at each other. Or I guess just you fighting yourself. That's crazy. Like, even at that young of an age, Anduin has been such a sharp kid. I respect him for that, man. Bro, but that's crazy how grown-ass men, like, they couldn't just put their dicks aside and, like, handle the bigger threat. Damn, that's a wild concept.
Yeah, who realizes that her time in Stormwind is at an end. Before she goes, though, she makes sure that Windsor doesn't survive that encounter, and she even kidnaps young Anduin back to her lair. For the moment, the two kings will hold on to their truce to save their son, and Windsor's investigation was thorough. He even discovered that Onyxia's lair that is near Fettermore, so the journey once again takes them to Jaina. She tells them that before they're going to confront the dragon, they must first know what she has done to them. Protective enchantments around the tower, it allows them to remember their physical connection. It enables them to fill in the gaps that they could not before, and now they remember everything. They understand that neither of them is a fake. They are two sides of a coin, more than brothers. They were divided, yet each of them had fought against the Black Dragon schemes on their own. One with sheer will, who became Lokash, champion gladiator, and one of them who was ransomed back and found his resolve to break free once again. For such formidable twins, Jaina has a twin gift. Two magical elven blades called Shalator and Elamane, also known as Shadowrender and Reaver. These blades were forged during the War of the Ancients. They were wielded by twin warriors, Vorillian and Lovelian. Between these two variants,
that's how he got his goddamn sword.
Twice the wisdom, twice the will to strike at Onyxia's dark heart. And strike out they do. The might of their entire party is thrown at Onyxia. People are running over X, they are spawning more whelps into the battlefield, and the Black Dragon herself, she decides that it's time to end this once and for all. She uses her magic in an attempt to break the will of her puppet, a spell that sounds familiar to the Varians, one that nearly destroyed them back on the island. The ransomed Varian jumps in front of his brother, the will of Stormwind's king, and he tells him to live on, slay this dragon, and save their son. For a long moment, there's a dead silence in the depths of the dragon's lair, until Varian Wrynn, one single being once again, rises up from the smoke.
Holy
blades
shit.
given by Jaina, they've also merged into one, forming the legendary blade Shalamane, and its might combined with all that Varian has to offer is enough.
Bro, this whole thing could be an entire series on Netflix. This could be like just season 1. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is so good. This is so good. But I don't know what Blizzard's doing. I said this time and time before. Blizzard would capture so many more people if they just reach out to the masses and go to where the people are. Yeah, we had the movie. That's great. That's great. But to really get into the mind of a consumer who wants to pay $15 for your sub, you have to kind of lead them in with something else besides just the movie, man. You have to. You have to. Bro, I remember that bullshit that Blizzard said for that Diablo Immortal thing? That whole you guys don't have phones, right? So why don't they take that? They know that most people have a phone and most people have a TV. Bro, put Warcraft in those spots. give people an actual series to where they would lean in and say, hey, I may pay this $15 because I like the series on Netflix. I may pay the $15 sub to play World of Warcraft. Bro, the reason why I started playing League was because of Arcane. Like, what the Oh, man, I don't know, man.
Enough to slay the broodmother.
Bro, Square Enix too, man. I mean, we have more movies. Yeah, we do have more movies. Wait, do we? I take that back. All I can think of is Advent Children. Like, that's one of the most popular ones. I'm pretty sure there's more, right? I think there is more than Advent. I'll have to do some digging on that later. But yeah, I'm a chew on that later.
And save not only his son, but also their kingdom from her foul presence. Her head is then put on display for all of Stormwind to see, to honor the heroic deeds that were done.
Bro, that's Onyxia. I think you guys did tell me that. You guys did tell me that the head hovering above Stormwind was the head of Onyxia. But back then I didn't know all of everything that Onyxia kind of did to the, the family of the Wrynns into Stormwind. Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's Onyxia.
On this day. This is
Bro, that's
Varian story
awesome.
Today, but his tale is far from over.
Chop the bitch's head off and like mounted her, bro.
Although Varian has been restored into one single being, he will need time to find his balance to deal with both his low gush side and his human prince side. Last time we began the story.
All right, guys. We're pausing it right there, man. I think I made it long enough. It's only been 22 minutes, but I'm sure with me talking, everything is a lot longer. Damn, bro. Damn. Varian and Anduin has went through it. I don't know who had it worse so far. I mean, so far it seems kind of equal. I'm not gonna lie, this shit seems kind of equal. I mean, but also at the same time, Varian has lived a longer life than Anduin. So I mean, I don't know if that's gonna come into play. I don't know if that's gonna be a factor. But guys, if you guys enjoyed, you already know what to do. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys for part 2, man. That was awesome. This is awesome. Damn. Take care.